It's 8:13 and we are here. Don't worry, we're here. Me and AZ, welcome to today's edition of Island Tea.
Yes. Good morning to everybody. I wish everyone listening a pleasant day. I trust that everyone is doing well. And I want to say good morning to everyone who is listening. Again, I want to share a quote, and it's by Albert Einstein. And this quote says, "We cannot solve problems with the kind of thinking we employed when we came up with them." And he says, "We cannot solve problems with the kind of thinking we employed when we came up with them." And that's by Albert Einstein. And so that quote encourages us to think differently, to think out of the box, and to solve problems by imploring some sort of innovation, some sort of new thinking to addressing the problems that we have. So as we go through today, I just want to say to everyone to do the best that you can and to try to think creatively, be a source of innovation. And before we started, Jam, so we were discussing, you were telling me about an interview with Mr. Powell, right? Yes, and so we are going to have an interview with Mr. Powell. Mr. Powell is a member of the Leeward Islands Cricket Association. He's currently the vice president. Okay, and everyone knows, everyone ought to know that, for the first time we've had a petition make the West Indies team, and so it's really one of celebration. Of course, we've had Divisions, and St. Nevis is one federation, but we've never had someone from the island of St. Kitts make that team. And so I thought that we will have more celebration, more acknowledgement. I call upon the Ministry of Sports, the Minister of Sports, and all of those persons, cricket fans, all of the association, to give our cricketer who has done well the recognition that he deserves.
I mean, we can't celebrate this enough. If this was a scale, if it was a scale from 0 to 10, it would still be on 0 as far as the celebration goes. Carlyle Powell was on the ball last night with Biff, our sports talk show on Win FM. It's Tuesday night from 7 to 9, and the reason I reached out to Mr. Powell is because last night, I produced that show as well, and he called in and he was basically saying the same thing I was saying yesterday morning. After you left yesterday morning, I was saying to the listeners, I really think it's bad that here we are. We have our first cricketer selected for the West Indies, and it's like meh. And he was saying the same thing last night.
Yes.
And being someone even closer to cricket, I imagine it stings even more for him, right? So he has agreed to come on. So I'm gonna try and call him about 8:30 if he's cool with that. So Carlisle, if you're listening, I want to call you 8:30ish.
Yes.
Okay. We're gonna do Zoom.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
And his name is Mikhail. And it's what? Mikhail, yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes. And he has made the West Indies cricket team, and so congratulations must be extended. So we look at so we're going to have that interview at 8:30, as Jamsa has indicated. We look at some of the other news areas, some of the things. I was reading an article, I think it was on Loop News, whereby I think it was Howard University. You remember the situation, the video that was circulated.
Oh, wait, did he?
Yes.
Oh, you're thinking like me. I saw that on
yes.
Sunday. I said, maybe I should raise this.
Yeah. At Howard University, I think they had bestowed upon him certain...
an honorary doctorate. Because he studied there, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. And based on what transpired and based on the circulation of the video, I saw whereby they were removing some of those.
And they even apparently he has a scholarship. There was a he did a $1 million donation and also set up a scholarship, and they're refunding the money and and all of that.
Yeah.
Oh, he's gonna need the money, so.
Yeah, they have.
But I'm so disappointed in him, honestly,
Mm-hmm.
because this is a guy I've looked up to in the sense of because of his go-getter attitude and his creativity, and the guy is a great producer, actually.
Mm-hmm.
He is. I mean, guy is a great producer. I mean, I feel like for the hip hop heads out there, I think one of the best albums he ever produced, and people don't realize, is that American Gangster album for Jay-Z, which accompanied the movie American Gangster
Mhm.
with Denzel Washington. I mean, it's a fabulous. I mean,
But there
I don't
has
know.
been so much controversy as it relates to him,
mhm.
especially very lately in terms of a lot of things that happen behind the scenes,
And
a lot of
apparently-
allegations.
Yes, and apparently his son's tied up in it too.
Yes. So he has been on the. I want to say.
But I find it funny though. All
Mhm.
of a sudden, all these things are coming out, but somehow
Yeah.
it's only about black people.
mm,
No, I'm serious. The Dream, he's another singer-songwriter producer. He's been accused by I think a former protege of
mhm,
sexual harassment, and there was someone else. Oh, Kanye West
mm.
is being accused of sexual harassment and similar stuff by I think a model or something. Yeah, they're bent on taking away the wealth of the brothers. Trust me, there's an element of that there, because they're always with the quickness when it comes to people who are may use color.
Mm.
Because how come all of a sudden? I mean, look at it: R. Kelly, Bill Cosby,
Mm-hmm.
now Diddy. No, I'm not saying. No, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's two separate things. I'm not saying they didn't do what they did, but the point is, the authorities, to my mind, don't keep the same energy
So you're saying.
with the palm-colored people.
So basically, you're saying the same energy is not being kept and should be kept for
Yes,
everyone.
for everyone, and they
Okay.
don't.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay. So your opinion is that the same energy
because
is being
you would think you would think that
Mm-hmm.
you would think that everybody over on the palm-colored side is they're above reproach. Yet these are the same people who, during slavery, were up in the slave quarters every night. But then all of a sudden, you want us to believe that they don't. All of a sudden, they're pure. I mean, they had the one guy. What's his name? Harvey Weinstein. But
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Okay.
we have some calls coming in.
Okay.
Hold on.
Let's see what the callers have to say.
Hey, caller.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning. What's up?
Yes.
Mhm.
Well, listening to the thought for today, so to speak. Yeah, really, really timely. Actually, I was thinking yesterday when I heard of the most recent fatality that we keep doing pretty much the same things and we keep getting the same results.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so we really need some out-of-the-box thinking. I think that's one of the things that bedevils this current administration.
Mm-hmm.
They're too fixed in doing things as we are accustomed to doing.
Mm-hmm.
Politically, when it comes to the politics, everything.
Or
And as a
maybe
result, we're not really moving forward. I don't get the impression that we're moving forward. And I get more of the impression that people are saying, oh, just another administration, pretty much the same thing, no out-of-the-box anything,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that's unfortunate, I think.
what would you
Right.
suggest?
No,
this-
well, I'm not going to come up with...
No, I mean, I'm not. It's not putting you on the spot, but I take the point. Yeah, there need to be some outside the box thinking.
That's
So
what they're elected to do, to make a difference, to change things, to shake up things. And I'm not getting the impression that that's happening, to be quite honest, right? And I can always fall back, of course, and say, well, they're the ones who are elected. They're the ones who are really supposed to be hard at work making the difference, not me.
I actually thought that with Woosi as the national security advisor, we would have seen the rollout of some, maybe some novel approaches to crime fighting.
That's the thing. It's pretty much more of the same.
Which is not to say
name stuff and so on, but that's not thinking out of the box.
Which is not to say,
that's not out of the box thinking.
And I'm not saying necessarily that he isn't being effective, because we don't know what's going on. There are a whole bunch of variables in play.
But we should see some kind of result.
Yeah.
And if the same things still keep happening, then something is definitely
and
wrong.
as you said,
I know it will take time for things to happen, but we've been saying that for decades now, and the same thing keeps happening.
But as Mr. McMahon, as Jamsa indicated, he said when the new national security advisor was named, he thought that something different would have happened, and I think many persons were of the same opinion in that regard. I think what a lot of persons.
I don't think one person is going to make a difference. To be quite honest with you.
Exactly, but that's my point.
I keep saying.
Which is why,
About the all of society approach.
So allow me to finish my point.
Okay,
if I could finish my point, yeah. And I think when we listened to the last press conference for the national security, I think a lot of persons, based on the comments that were made, based on the comments that came specifically from him, I think a lot of persons were left disappointed. As we look now, we have seen in circulation a video about an armed robbery. I think that might have been very recent. Based on what I'm hearing, persons were saying it was sometime yesterday. And I am thankful that, no one lost a life, But these things are happening very often right now, too frequently.
And the point you're making is...
Say that again?
No, you said you were making a point. You said that to say...
All I'm saying is that, it's an all of society approach. And I just urge the security forces to do what they can in terms of arresting the situation, because it seemed to be now one of a string of robberies happening.
Actually, when this one had a voice to it. I wondered about if you could have distinguished an accent among it, among those who were talking. But anyway, that's for the security forces to think. But the all of society approach, as I was saying, we give lip service to it, but there's no genuine. I don't think there's a genuine attempt by the administration to be all inclusive. I don't see it. I don't see the demand for everybody to get on board and help. Right? Unfortunately, I think it's still very much in the political realm where people want credit for getting stuff done. That's fine, but that's not going to do it if you're really talking. If you're going to be talking inclusiveness, right? Everybody should get the credit, and everybody should take the blame if there's failure. And one last point: with Michael Lewis' achievement, definitely should be celebrated. Okay, because to get to that point would have required some really hard work and concentration and discipline and so on. I'm concerned though that we can go overboard with this. Okay, I think somebody mentioned a scale on a scale of 1 to 10.
Jamso indicated
or something like that.
Yeah, Jamso was speaking about that.
Yeah, I think we can go overboard and put too much pressure on the young man. I think we should let him develop. Let him find his way without additional pressure.
You're conflating some kind of enthusiastic celebration with pressure. I don't think that's.
You don't think that.
I don't think we should conflate a celebration of a seminal occasion with putting pressure on him. I think he gets it. Oh boy, I'm the first. That's not necessarily. I don't see how anyone would take that
You
as
don't
undue
feel, for
pressure.
instance, that having huge expectations and the weight of everybody on your shoulders, the whole nation on your shoulders, creates pressure.
I'm sure he could
Additional
handle
pressure?
it. I'm sure he can handle it. I don't think
Okay,
it's.
well, that's,
Yeah,
that's,
I mean-
that's what I was hoping, that you'd be
Yeah.
able to handle it,
Yeah.
because not everybody could. I mean, we've seen that so often with celebrities and people of that ilk. They just succumb to it, right? And,
In fact-
and,
In fact, I think the celebration would be good for his psyche and his confidence, right? Is it? I mean,
that can happen as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that is what happened, and not.
and then
the result.
even though he know that comes with pressure, he'll feel like, okay, I know I have some pressure on me, but I'm confident because I know I have the ability. So I'm not worried that if I don't do as well
Right.
this first time,
And maybe too, a strong feeling of support. A strong
Exactly.
feeling of support.
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. Well, let's hope it's all the positives, and not the negatives. That
It
can
would be
happen.
good for us if we could have an interview with him on the show.
Yeah, I think they're probably in camp now. Though,
Okay.
but, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
It just. I mean, of course, it should be celebrated. No question about that. It's a first,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's just that I could imagine, with everybody saying, everybody going to be looking for his first-time performance on the team, etc., etc.
Mm-hmm.
It's additional pressure to what you would normally have
Yeah.
been going through. That's what.
Okay, all right. Take another call. Caller, go right ahead.
Yeah, good morning, fellas. How you
All
guys
right,
doing
what's-
this
hey, what's up,
morning?
Hey, good morning, bro. How are you?
Yeah, pretty good.
Yes.
Me, I have some comments or whatever, and I'm starting to think to myself, I'm gonna start falling back from being on the radio so much
Why is that?
because this MSR saga was going on in the Federation. I believe personally that the people of St. Kitts are nervous. It seems like they're hypnotized by, politicians and the politics that's going on there.
Yeah, I know you have made some.
I believe.
I know you have made some
I-
suggestions about speaking about it too. I mean, the case is out there. The case, when I say the case, the claim is out there. There are certain aspects of the claim being circulated. There have been interviews, because I have listened to the interview by Martinez Philippe, by one of I think she's from St. Lucia. I think that was in circulation, and that was about maybe some over 30 minutes, and I listened to the entire thing. You understand? And I've been listening to and reading to get my own opinion, because you're hearing different things from different sides. And as someone who has been outside of what has happened, you're trying to ascertain for yourself some level of truth as it relates to the whole matter.
Yeah, that's correct. But my topic of the day is corruption inside the Federation, right?
Mhm.
And I've read through a lot of these documents and stuff like that. And the allegations are very damning, man, if I can use that word at all, please. And because of persons' affiliation and association and party line, and then I believe also there are some persons who are getting paid, and because they're getting money, financial gain from whatever affiliation they got with some of these people, the basic thing what I'm looking at, man, is wrong and right. And the criminal, I'm getting to know and hear that underselling of the passport is a criminal act. It's illegal. It's unlawful. And if that's the case, me personally, I believe the Prime Minister should direct his AG to do a probe and find out if these persons, were criminally negligent. And if so, they need to be charged. They need to be charged. Bottom line, there's no ifs, ands about that. Azard, you are a lawyer.
And also to
And
remember, if they're going to be criminally charged, anything in the criminal arena area that falls in the purview of the Director of Public Prosecutions.
Yes, yes, and the prime minister is the one that got to direct them towards that criminal element. But what I want to say to the Sinkers
But
and Nevis people,
the DPP has, I mean, at the end of the day, when you say direct, you make it seem as though there's some collusion. So I want to say, the DPP is an independent office, or ought to be an independent office.
so therefore he needs to do his investigation, his independent investigation, if there's any suspect of criminal elements.
I mean, persons can raise if there's some, we might be, we might be thinking that something is happening. So I'm saying,
Yeah,
as an
and
ordinary
when
citizen, you could always raise concerns.
And when you have that hunch, an investigation or
Yes.
probe needs to be
Mhm.
done.
Yes.
You know, what happened is, one thing I like about that Philippe Martinez person,
Mhm.
he has taken this stuff to court. And that's where the action goes down.
Mhm.
You know, I
And-
don't see why.
And that is
any
significant
person-
too, because then
Yes,
we would
it
be
is.
we would be able to see for ourselves, based on the court's
Correct.
judgment, what were
That's
some of
correct.
the what was some of the what I want to say what was some of the evidence and the activities
Yes.
associated with the program that we would not have known otherwise. You understand?
Yes,
Because-
that's correct. That's correct.
Because
And
a
all
lot
that
of things
stuff
have
I've
been
got-
happening with the program, but because we're outside, and even when it comes to the number of passports sold, or the number of persons,
That non-transparency is hurting this administration here.
and then
I
you
don't
look at
care what
Grenada,
none of them
Burl.
do.
You look at Grenada, and Grenada could tell you, well, this year or last year
Yeah,
we
that's
got
correct.
up to
Yeah, that's correct, Azard.
$380
I'm
million
right there for
dollars.
you, man. I'm
Yeah.
totally agreeing with you with that.
And then they say up to this year, they don't tell you, at
Yes,
the
they-
quarter,
they
this is
really
much
put
we
the
get
facts
in,
out.
how much we got,
They
and
really
how much
put
we
the facts
suspect.
out.
Hmm.
And the non-transparency of this government, they probably might be feeling to themselves these acts are committed before they come in, but the shadow is hanging over them. You know what I mean? The non-transparency is what's hurting them now. Remember, they come in on this good governance agenda. And two things I want to say before I go. One, if you're following what's going on in the United States right now, let me tell you something, man. These guys, they don't want to come to this mainland to mess with these courts here. You see, Foy from Tatola got convicted. We see Trump got convicted. And then Biden's son got convicted yesterday. Bro, they're taking a big risk coming into this American judicial system. We are not in Charlestown and Bass Fair. And secondly, is the Integrity Commission. I want to ask you if that commission is operative, because if that commission is operative right now, as of when Judem came in, then that commission has to do their work. They has to do their work.
Hmm.
That commission now have to prove to the St. Nevis public that they are operational. Like Carl Brown and some other you callers said, that commission now got to show the public that they got gum and teeth.
And Burl, also,
these allegations are damning. That commission got to investigate this stuff as well.
Burl, when you look at Grenada and they're very transparent, and you think about the fact that Grenada just had a new prime minister,
Prime Minister,
yes,
yeah.
and claiming, and the claims of and you're seeing the transparency from that aspect, at least in terms of, and you know what I would like. This is the amount of money that we made from the program this year. This is what we're going to do with the money. We're going to take the money and we're going to invest it here and many persons have made a comment, and you listen to persons on the street, you listen to persons on the radio as well, and they are asking, what is it that we have in terms of a structure, in terms of something that we could say, as a result of this sale, this is what we have now been able to achieve.
Yes, that's correct. Non-transparency is hurting the good governance agenda. And Grenada, being the transparency that they have brought out, the more transparency you have, the less hurt you're going to create for your own self.
And then at times they say that, persons speculate. But you're going to speculate. You're going to assume if you don't have the information.
Azard, this is what I'm trying to bring to the public of St. Kitts and Nevis. This court case is already filed. This stuff
Okay.
is real.
Okay,
There
Burl.
is no speculation here.
Okay,
And I just
Burl.
wanna say
No,
big up
I
to
was
Big Life.
speaking. I was speaking generally, Burl, in terms of persons tend to speculate or assume if you don't have the information before you. So
Yeah.
anyone who
Yeah, that's
holds
correct, that's
information
correct, yeah.
and then says that
Yeah.
someone is assuming or speculating, well, you
Yeah, that's-
assisted
yeah,
in the
that's correct.
speculation.
Okay,
Yeah, that's
Burl.
correct, man. You know how this government is, man. They're reactive, man. They got to be more proactive, man.
Okay,
That
Burl, I think-
reactiveness that they got is hurting them all the time.
Burl, I gotta wrap
Big
you
up
up.
to Big Lights, big up to Big Lights, man. He had a great life last night,
Oh,
man.
okay.
And he brought forth a lot of stuff last night, man. I wish you can see that as well.
Okay,
Yes.
Burl,
Yeah,
I
you
have
know,
to
I
wrap.
just
I have to
wanna
wrap you up here,
thank
Burl,
you.
Burl. I have to wrap you up here. We have Carlisle Powell. He's already, he's yeah,
no
he's
problem.
already on the line. You can always come back afterwards, but
To the people, man. Thank you,
yes, okay.
Thank you, Burl.
So we're gonna take a break and we're gonna come back and talk to Carlisle Powell. He is the vice president of the Leeward Islands Cricket Association, and he also has some choice words for the lack of any kind of celebratory. What? Give me a word, Daisy.
The lack of
Lack of celebration for
yeah, I was going to
for
say
our
that.
first
Yeah.
our first St. Kitts' first cricket West Indies cricket player.
Yep.
So let's go to the break and come back.
No problem.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Feeling lucky? Your winning streak starts now with the Pick 3 and Pick 4 Mega Ball Bonanza. That's right. Pick your lucky numbers in Pick 3 or Pick 4, then grab all 5 boards and add the Mega Ball to at least one. Bam! You've instantly got yourself a free $1 ticket. That's 5 chances to win big. Plus a guaranteed $1 win just for playing the Mega Ball way. So grab your Pick 3 and Pick 4 play slips today at Caribbean Lottery Agents island-wide. Must be 21 and over to play.
Let's go, Dad. I want to be early for school.
Is that my cologne? Didn't I give you money to buy your own?
I deposited that money on my Sure Start account from CIBC Caribbean. Dad, look how much I've saved. In another 10 years, I'll have money for...
Let's go. With time, you'll have enough to buy your old man a sports car.
Teach your children to save for the future. Open an account that grows with your little one. Choose Sure Start from CIBC Caribbean.
It's new and only at ICWI, the insurance company of the West Indies. Receive free windscreen cover when you purchase your third-party policy with ICWI. You heard right, free windscreen cover with your third-party policy for only a limited time. If you're a third-party policy holder, take advantage of this limited time offer and switch to ICWI for added protection. Isn't it time you experience insurance the ICWI way? Conditions apply. Click, call, or visit ICWI today. Visit us at 1C Bird Rock Road. Call 465-8753 or ICWI.com.
And we are back.
We're back
It's,
on Island T.
8:42. I've got Carlisle Powell, the vice president of the Leeward Islands Cricket Association. Now, I keep telling our listeners that WinFM has programs around the clock most days that are pretty interesting. Now, last night we had On the Ball. On the Ball is a sports talk program hosted by Troy Biff Mills from 7 to 9, and he had Carlisle Powell on last night, and I thought he had a fiery presentation, so I thought I would call him and get some of that fire over here. Carlisle, what's up?
Good morning, Carlisle.
Great. How are you? Good morning.
Hey.
How are you doing?
Yeah,
Excellent.
last night I was listening to you, and I was like, because yesterday morning after AZ left, you left about 9 o'clock, right?
Yeah, just about that.
So I think about
maybe even before
yeah.
that, because we had
Yeah.
weekly dose that I wasn't here for.
Yeah, so at one point between 9:30 and 10, I was musing. I said, it's amazing to me that here we are. We have the first person picked for the Leeward Islands. What am I saying? The West Indies cricket team.
Yes.
And there is no celebration or there's no like you just ain't getting the vibes like, hey, this is a really seminal thing for St. Kitts, but it's just not there. And you pretty much said the same thing last night. And I imagine it even stings more for you being someone intimately involved with cricket. Carlisle.
Absolutely. And the first thing I have to do is to say congratulations to Michael Louis and to wish him all the best, not just on this upcoming tour, but we hopefully will see him in the West Indies as well, because there are more test matches slated for the West Indies later this year. So we should see him in some of those. And even as I say congratulations to him, I have to give commiserations to his brother, because I really believe that Jeremiah has done all that he has been asked to do. Other people have made the team with less. But let's focus on Mikhail for a minute. And let me tell you why I'm so disappointed that more has not been done for him. Leeward Islands cricket started in 1913. West Indies started playing Test cricket in 1928. So I want you to look at it this way. St. Kitts, they were an original member of the Leeward Islands Cricket Association. In those days, it was St. Kitts, Antigua, Montserrat. I will have to back check to see if Dominica was in at that time, because they played in the Leewards. So you're talking about 111 years after St. Kitts became an original member of the Leeward Islands Cricket Association that a player has gone forward to Test cricket. But not just that. We started playing Test cricket in 1928. So 96 years after we started playing Test cricket, a player from St. Kitts is finally on the West Indies side. I believe that this is cause for jubilation. This is cause for mass excitement. This is cause for billboards across the island. This is just cause for Mickey Louis to be celebrated, and for the next time that he travels to go to the camp, that he presents an official passport, maybe even a diplomatic passport, to ensure that he's going out there with the full backing and support of the people and the government of St. Kitts. What I am seeing so far are people who are calling to say congratulations, meeting him to take pictures, and I'm seeing a lukewarm response from the Ministry of Sport and from the government. And I'm expecting more, because you're not going to get another first. This is the first. So his name will be etched in history. And when you look back and you do the reflections, we're looking back 51 years after Willett made the side. And we're still remembering all the celebrations at the announcement. Not when he played his first match, at the announcement that he had been selected. And I can't help but say that I'm disappointed with the lukewarm response that we have had so far. And I hope that it picks up, that something be done, and that a lot of things happen in a hurry.
Okay. And now the thing is, what do you think accounts for this? You could say this oversight. Could it be that we have a much younger minister, and it could be that cricket doesn't resonate with him and maybe some of the people in the ministry the way it does. So you think that has something to do with it? I mean, because look at it. I'm not even really into cricket, but I recognize that cricket is important.
But you recognize the importance.
Exactly.
And it's not just about being into a particular thing.
Yeah.
It's being able to recognize when something great has been accomplished.
Exactly.
And being able to celebrate that accomplishment.
Maybe it is, but listen, I worked as an airport manager many years ago. I had a minister named Ivor Stevens at the time. And Mr. Stevens, used to say to me, listen, anything to do with the airport, I'm going to ask you. Or my permanent secretary will ask you. And you will teach me how to behave as if I am the expert on airports. So if Minister Duggins is not an expert on cricket, he doesn't even have to like cricket. There's a cricket association in St. Kitts headed by Dennis Phillip. And there are people in St. Kitts who know and understand and appreciate cricket. All he has to do is to rely on the Department of Sports, Ministry of Sports, the cricketers in St. Kitts, and get up to speed. And by now, we should have heard an announcement that the government is going to do X, Y, Z, because the tour to the UK is next month. But people have to understand that the young man, Mikhail, is not going to be in St. Kitts until he boards a plane to go to England. He will leave to go to a training camp someplace, and they will arrive in England. So there is less time that they know. Maybe they are thinking, okay, the first test is going to be on the first week of July, so we have until the end of June to do something. That's not the case. I believe that they have about 2 weeks to do something, maybe less.
Is it safe to say?
Minister, there is no excuse, even if the minister does not like cricket. There are enough people in St. Kitts to know and understand and appreciate sport and cricket. Listen, you have a gentleman in St. Kitts named Mr. Ricky Skerritt. He was not only manager of the West Indies side, the Leeward side, but he was also an administrator, the chief administrator for the West Indies Cricket Board. Somebody like him, you believe if the minister or his PS were to call Mr. Skerritt, Ambassador Skerritt, and say, listen, give us an idea what we should do to show appreciation to Mikhail. You believe that Ricky would say, no, I don't think so. And this is the time, there are some people who are saying, let us wait, let us not get too excited, let us ensure that he gets selected in the first test first, and then we get excited. Hell no, get excited now. He has been selected, but is the first player from St. Kitts in the 96 years that West Indies has played Test cricket to be selected. Get excited now.
Let me ask this question. So, is it safe to say that this is this oversight is part of is just another symptom of the you could say the official neglect of cricket? I mean, look at the fact that we didn't get those
matches.
Matches
because we had
the
the Minister of Sports here at one point in time, and a lot of persons were saying they were disappointed, extremely disappointed, that we didn't even bid for the matches. And he indicated, well, we have in the test matches, we don't have the facilities to accommodate the games being played here other than the test matches. And persons are in disappointment. In fact, as the conversation we're having here now, persons are messaging and saying, this seemed to be like a trend when it comes to the minister looking at cricket. He said at one point in time, he said that he's not just the minister of cricket, he's the minister of sports. But we're looking, and a lot of persons have been disappointed in the sports and the way in which the ministry is being ran, in the sense that it seemed like a lot of balls are being dropped.
So that symptom that symptom we saw before, you think it's part of the same problem? Mr. Louis being sort of not getting his, let's say, getting the celebratory laurels you think he would have gotten, and the fact that we never got those games that we were expecting. What say you?
Two things I will say to you. I do not want Mr. Louis to get involved in the politics and so on of cricket and of administration. I want him to focus on getting fit, practicing, getting mentally prepared for the trip to England, because he'll be taking on some outstanding bowlers. I want him to focus on that part of it. Let people like me argue and discuss the other side of it. And I have my own battles here in Nevis. It is clear to me that cricket in the Federation is not on the front burner. Very, very clear to me. We have our own challenges here in Nevis with a substandard E.T. Willett Park that can't even host regional games, can't even host under-19 games at a regional level. And we've been doing all that we can to try to get that up to speed, but to focus more on St. Kitts. If St. Kitts didn't bid for the World Cup because the facilities are not up to par, need some additional work, what has been done since the bids were entered and since the bids were opened and since we know that St. Kitts is not going to host? Have we done anything? Because when I looked at the schedule, St. Kitts is down for some one-day internationals later this year. So what have we done to ensure that when those one-day internationals come to St. Kitts that we are up to speed, that we are in a better position than we were when we didn't bid for the T20 World Cup. And if nothing has been done, when are we going to start the work at the Warner Park Stadium to ensure that we are up to speed and that when people come to St. Kitts, because when they come to St. Kitts, they will be looking at St. Kitts in a totally new light, you know. St. Kitts will not just be another international venue. St. Kitts will be the home of Michael Louis. So they are going to be looking around, and trust me, they will be doing their comparisons. Well, boy, these are what your facilities are like. This is what your practice facilities are like, Louis and XYZ. That is what one of the biggest embarrassments I face when cricketers and former cricketers come to Nevis and ask me to take them to the ETW Park.
Wow. Okay, now switching gears without switching gears. You are the vice president of the Leeward Islands Cricket Association. And as per the show last night, I understand that you are running for the presidency. Tell us a little bit about that and what other things you hope to remedy as far as Leeward Islands cricket if you were to win the presidency.
That is correct. I am indeed contesting the presidency. The elections are coming up on the 22nd. And there are some glaring omissions, I would term them, that we have to fix and fix in a hurry. We have had one Leeward Islands through the competition for the last 10, 12 years, but we have a franchise. How do you give people equal opportunities to be seen, to display their skills, and to be recognized in order to be selected to the franchise if you are not playing through the cricket? It's nearly impossible. And I'm saying that under Powell administration, we'll ensure that we have 3-day competitions annually. We will make sure that we play the one-day competition, the Leeward's one-day competition, which has not been played in a long time. We will make sure that, listen, 18 years after Stanford brought the 2020 to the Caribbean and to the world, we'll make sure that the Leewards has a 2020 competition. We still do not have a 2020 competition, despite the fact that we now have 2 franchises based in the Leewards, one in St. Kitts and one in Antigua. So we have to ensure that there is an under 15 competition. Make sure you have the under 19 and the under 17 competitions, because we have had a whole set of people pass through the under 15 ranks and have not played a single under 15 game. This cannot be right and good for the cricket. It cannot help you to grow the sport. And in terms of governance issues, we're going to give the ownership of cricket back to the members. The members sat in 2022 and decided that they wanted a review of the Constitution. This review was completed in June of 2023. That review included something like term limits for the president, could not serve for more than 2 terms of 2 years. Our current president has been there for 8 years. Now, when we agreed unanimously at that meeting in June of 2023 on term limits and the entire Constitution, that meeting took us about 7 hours. Sent it to the secretary of the board, which by then the president decided he wanted a lawyer to review it. Azard is a lawyer. According to the president, the lawyer has had it for an entire year and has not brought back to the board, or if he has, the president has not told us, has not sent any comments at all on that for a year. But you know what is the real reason behind that? It included term limits which were unanimously approved. And if those were implemented, it meant that the president could not run again. So he has kicked the can slowly down the road, and we are contesting the elections on the old Constitution, even after the fact that all of the members of the Leewards board unanimously agreed on term limits. The president has refused to implement the changes. So he's exempt from that for another year. I'm saying that under Powell presidency, once the members make decisions, we will implement the decisions which are made by the members. It's not for the president to frustrate the wishes of the members. So those are some of the things that we are going to bring into bear to ensure that there is good governance at the Leewards level.
Okay.
Okay.
Carlisle Powell, you have a question? Last question?
Well, I just want to say thank you to Carlisle. I would have to.
When is the
reach out
election, by the way, Carlisle?
The 22nd, which is next week, Saturday.
Okay. And who votes in that? Would it be the heads
members?
Of the association?
All 8 members. So
okay.
you're talking about Anguilla, Antigua, Montserrat, USVI, British Virgin Islands, St. Martin, St. Kitts and Nevis.
I see. Okay. All right. Carlisle, it was real, and I really hope that your presentation makes some change to come about, especially with the Kyle Louis thing, and you I it stood out for me when you spoke last night about the fact that we have two teams, two franchises, yet we don't have a Leeward Islands 2020 competition. I thought that was a very great point. So I wish you all the best for the upcoming election, and we can probably check back in with you after.
Not a problem. Thank you very much.
All right, great.
All the best, Carlisle.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Okay, so we have 1 minute tonight. We have Troy's already outside.
Oh, Troy's outside.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have a good time with Troy then, because I have to run. Yeah,
I still forgot.
I have court to go to. So I guess you'll be doing the farm report with Troy today. Yeah.
And I'll take the watermelons by myself. No, he didn't bring anyone. I'm just playing.
Okay, man. I know he's good for bringing the fruits. It's okay.
Okay.
So take a short break.
Okay.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
For all your animal needs, try the Feed and Farm Store SKN. We have the best quality products in feed, dewormers, grooming supplies, toys, treats, and minor medical supplies. Drop by the store on the Kim Collins Highway at the airport roundabout. We're open from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday to Friday and 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Saturdays. Give us a call at 669-FARM.
And it's 1 minute after 9 o'clock. It's time for Farm Report, brought to you by Feed and Farm. You just heard from them. Troy Flanders is on deck for today's presentation. Troy? Feed and Farm, the number once again is 669 Farm. So it's easy to remember, 669 FARM. That's 3276, and they're located on the Kim Collins Highway, just below Michael's Burgers, in that the Sugars building. Troy, what's up?
Hi, good morning.
Okay, so what's on your mind today? What's on the agenda?
Good morning to all our listeners. Another Wednesday, another farm report. Right. Before I get too far into my presentation today, I would just like to encourage all my listeners and all those who are looking for cantaloupe and watermelons. The Department of Agriculture Marketing Unit, they have available. So I'd like to encourage you all to go out and support the farmers. And this morning, I'd like to compliment my colleagues who were here last week and the week before. Been a while since I haven't been here, and those guys did such a lovely job. I don't know how could I match it. They did such a good job. Really enjoyed the presentation by Mr. Flanders, that's Kyle, and Isaac last week, and then Kyle himself did a presentation by himself the week before. So I would just like to pick up from where Kyle from Kyle's conversation. Today, I want to speak about the plight of the farming community and the reason why. One of the reasons why we are suffering the way we are. And then just like my listeners to just listen carefully to anything that I'm saying, because there are elements out there trying to twist my words. Right? So this morning I'd like to speak about the undermining of the Ministry of Agriculture. And that undermining, to me, I lay it solely at the feet of one person. As long as you listen to Mr. Flanders' presentation, and everyone will agree that the guy did make a good presentation, and you could actually hear from his presentation the intelligence of the guy. But the ministry decided to sideline Mr. Flanders, and that will only act to the detriment of the farming community. Okay, listen to the guy, his knowledge and the expertise. We, the farming community, will be unable to utilize that. And the only, from what I understand, that Mr. Flanders came on this program here earlier. I think it was his first program, and he did make a presentation. As a matter of fact, he was talking about the working of the ministry. But the only mistake he made was that he came to represent the consortium. And from that time, they tends to punish him for that. We use that term. I think he was told straight to his face that he had no reason to be on the radio representing the consortium, even though he was on his vacation. And yes, he wasn't doing his working time. It was vacation time, so he came on the radio and he spoke about the workings of the ministry. It wasn't nothing to criticize the ministry or anything. But the problem for them is that he said that he was here representing the consortium.
But correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't we have an extension officer who works there? What's his name again?
Mr. Stevens.
Yes, and did he meet with a similar fate?
He too having his challenges.
Really?
Yes, he too also having his challenges, and the problem is that.
So let me get this straight. Two members of the consortium who happen to work at agriculture for the ministry,
yeah,
have met with reprisals, you could say, because of the fact that they showed up on behalf of the consortium.
Yeah, you could remember
and
that.
Gave very reasonable and knowledgeable and very professional presentations.
We could remember that Mr. Stevens was denied the opportunity to speak in a meeting with the consortium and the ministry. He was denied that opportunity because of something going on with his work having to do with the consortium. So that's and
so let me ask: when Mr. Stevens was here, was it during work time?
Yeah, but I think he was on vacation also.
He was on vacation as well.
Yeah.
So both of them were on vacation.
Yeah. It wasn't
yet that happened.
Yeah, but unfortunately, while Mr. Flanders was here the last two times, right? Mr. Flanders was sent on leave.
Yeah, he told me. Yeah.
Yeah, because they were trying to shuffle him.
Mm-hmm. He told me he was being moved to Marine.
Right.
What's it called? Marine.
Yeah.
Marine Division.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes. So that also act to the detriment of the crop farmers, because now we does not have the luxury of his expertise.
I did ask him last week or the week before? I asked him if I knew he was doing this research and compiling this information and so on. So I asked him if that was going to continue, if he's with him being moved to marine resources. And I think, well, You answer that.
Well, I don't know if he will continue, but he said he will try and help any way he can, because that's the nature of the guy, right? Because he is a agriculturist at heart, right? And you find that from since the first presentation here, Mr. Flanders was put in a room, have nothing to do, because he was told he will not work at the ministry. Right?
Seriously?
Yes, this program been running for over a year, and that guy has been sidelined, getting taxpayers' money monthly to just sit at a desk, an empty desk, right? And most of these decisions is made by one person, you know. One person choose to use their office to oppress people. You look at Mr. V. Harris, right? Mr. V. Harris is the guy who responsible for the financing at the department because of some disagreement between Mr. Harris and the same guy, the head of the department, the ministry. Mr. Harris also have been put in a room, have nothing to do. And since Mr. Harris being sidelined, the department having difficulty paying their bills. And it affecting the farming community. Because
wait, the department, as in the Department of Agriculture?
Yes. They are having difficulty paying their bills. You find that we cannot get no seeds because they purchase no seed.
I want to tell you to choose your words carefully, because
yes,
I'm trying to be as I expect you. I know you're responsible.
We're having difficulty.
I don't expect you to say things that aren't true.
Well, it's over a year we've been doing this program. We haven't had to retract anything.
Okay.
Right?
Fair enough.
We haven't had to retract anything. I don't think we'll start to retract anything. Right? You find that this program started with the chemical situation. Right? The lack of herbicide. A year later, we find ourselves back in that same position. Would you believe that with all the uproar last year about herbicide, you believe that we'll find ourselves back in that position this year?
What I find strange is, this is something I've observed over the years that successive governments do, where they will because my thing is, you're wasting taxpayers' money, because if you have someone who is perfectly productive, but for whatever reason they cross you, and I put cross in quotes, because if someone exercises their, let's say, their independence or their how do you have this person do nothing and still pay them? That makes no sense to me.
How could you send home Mr. Flanders for 10 days, which taxpayers have to pay him for? 10 days home.
You talk about 25 by 25, but you have a very smart, clearly passionate and professional individual working at the Ministry of Agriculture, and I don't understand.
That's the thing and while I hear sitting and saying these things, I will be challenged. Because somebody will say, there he go again, trying to be political. I will be challenged. But it affecting my work.
But if you're pointing out things that are actually happening, how is that being political? You're pointing out them being political, wouldn't that be it?
You see, the thing is, it's affecting the farming community. That's why it make it to the farm report. And the frustration in which the farmers feel every day. Most of the time I come here, people call me and tell me about their frustrations. You know? When I come here and I say things, it's because of what persons are going through. Yeah, the frustration. And
how do you have how can you basically say with a straight face 25 by 25, and yet you have clearly capable agents working in your ministry, and you move them to a department where
The thing is,
the good they can do is lessened.
The names, there are more people who are also being sidelined, right? You got Aisha Howell, they are being sidelined. You have Dr. Tracy Challenger, they have been sidelined, right? You got Delisha Huggins, they're being facing a lot of difficulties recently. And it's alleged that the ministry right now is functioning.
So why have those people been sidelined?
And is one thing all of them have in common. In thing is that they, for some reason, that they may have said something about this individual who is the head of the department. They might have criticized something he done. And as long as you criticize anything that is being done in the ministry, you will be punished. It have nothing to do with what you are putting out and what you want happen for the ministry. All that put aside, it become personal. And being personal, it affect the farming community daily with petty. I mean, I have asked the Prime Minister to intervene in that ministry over and over, right? And as
you guys have a cordial relationship, right?
Yeah, I think so. I want to believe so.
Okay.
We had asked him to intervene. The consortium had to sit down with the Prime Minister, and we also asked him to intervene. Please intervene.
And you guys, I'm sure you made it clear to him that there was no. You just want to see things get to see things get done, and you want to see. Well, we all know 25 by 25 is a pipe dream, but at least you want to see it be as good as it can be, right?
And that's the thing that is frustrating us, because here we're asking you to intervene, and so far we haven't seen any intervention. So it will lead me to believe that you either are satisfied with the output from the ministry, or you just don't concern about what's going on in the ministry.
Maybe it's just a continuation of something we've seen from successive governments. They pay lip service to agriculture and its growth and so on, and yet nothing happened.
Well, I will put this to the general public, because it's alleged that the ministry is functioning at 30%, right, with more than 70% of the senior staff being sidelined. So what production you can get out of that? Maybe that's something that causing all these struggle in the farming community, right? If you tends to allow this thing to happen, right now, I think the PSs are out of office for almost a month. The PS will be out of office for almost a month, just a couple of days shy of a month, maybe 2 or 3 days shy of a month out of office. Where's the outrage from the general public for the plight of the farmers? Where's the outrage?
Farm Report, it's on 916. Call us if you have any calls. You feel free to give us a call, 466-0989, 662-0989 for Troy Flanders. And Farm Report is brought to you by Feed and Farm. You can call them at 669-FARM, 669-3276, and they're located on the Kim Collins Highway in the Sugars Building.
You will want to believe if the Ministry of Education was running at 30%, you're going to see outrage in the streets, you're going to see parents going on. If health was going at that you're going to see some outrage. But why should we, the farmers, keep suffering? Why? I mean, maybe because cheap food coming in here, which is not healthy for the people. Because the thing is that the food that we produce is much healthier, it lasts much longer, and it will help you. It's actually cheaper.
Actually, let me pull you up there, just to be devil's advocate. Are we sure that the food that we hear my reasoning, that the food we plant here is necessarily healthier, especially if we're getting the seeds from the same places that those people outside.
The seed might.
I'm not saying all the seeds.
The seeds might be contaminated with what they put in over there, but still, based on our soil and that the chemical is still less you're putting into the soil. So if you're having a little of what they put in, you're having a lot less than what you come from when you come from over there.
But what if it's genetically modified?
Yeah, but still, Jamster, you got to use chemical to treat it, to bring it to the market. So the thing is that we use less chemical.
Okay.
So therefore, it must be healthier.
I mean, I take the point, but it just then I remember
because if you look at it, you take one of our tomatoes or our green peppers or and you
it
put them
lasts
on the
longer.
shelf.
Yeah.
You see, it much lasts longer.
Yeah, I'm testament to that.
Right.
Caller, Farm Report. Go right ahead.
Yes, good morning. Good morning.
Hey, what's up?
Good morning, Chai.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, AZ. And good morning, Jamster. It seems as though Chai thinking like me, They said two great minds think alike. Because they come on this program this morning demanding not only just with the consortium alone, but with the farmers and a whole. The Prime Minister meet with us. It's a compulsory. I said that to say this, The European Union had a meeting Sunday gone. How much of the European islands farmers strike? What happened to the elections? What happened to the elections in India also? The Indian farmers strike. I'm going a little back. Last week, the two persons, which is Kyle Flanders and the other guy, made comments and some remarks that they made, right? Saying people should be crying out, How could the person who in charge of the Ministry of Agriculture can tell farmers don't bring no more produce that's already picked up on the shelves? And then you hear how much 1,000 pounds of produce the consortium this man after, This man here, I could call him because he come from my farm already. The kind of nastiness going on. Miguel Fleming. For 3 months, from since December, up to now, I can't finish cleaning my farm. I should have been harvesting for over 3 months. I can't. Just weekend gone there, I put the same set of seasoning peppers that I take videos of. I send it to him, the same Mr. Miguel Fleming, So I have already had a copy too.
Yeah.
And I want to tell you something to him. So I want you to let the people think it's now. How much farmers who had produced are rain farmers that wait and rain depending on the rain? How much of the produce they lost? Would they be able to continue farming presently now in the dry season? So the money that they should have made from the last set of picking gone down the drain and nobody to compensate them? These are some of the reasons why we want to talk to the Prime Minister. It's an election campaign and nothing. Ain't no whose side and mis side. It is country side, matter of fact, the Federation side, for the Prime Minister to see and know that this industry, look what's going on with CBI. This is the only thing along with tourism. And anyway, try get to talk.
Yeah, man. Thanks for the call. Yeah.
Jamster, because other person might want to call it too.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks for the call.
Respect.
And I come here with something prepared, and I'm going off script because this thing is a bit
go ahead.
Passionate for me. You see, as that caller said, it seems as if anybody who find themselves around the consortium, you get punished for it. You look at the consortium were allowed to have the planting program, and we were ably assisted by the marketing unit. But at the end of it, we run into some difficulties up there. And there are certain people who up there who are getting serious pushback because they side with the consortium, with the planting program. And these are things that are happening. On one hand, they will tell you that, oh, yes. We the consortium, and we met with the consortium, but you could see going over and over and over the treatment that they are pushing out to the consortium. They does not want the consortium to exist.
So there's a lot of passive aggressive stuff going on.
Yes, they're very aggressive towards the consortium.
Wow.
And most of the aggression.
Passive aggression, meaning it's like aggression that's couched in, you could say, it seems
but
it's veiled.
It's
like veiled aggression.
But most of that, you might get something from the minister, a little passive, and the aggression part to come from the other under the minister. So while the minister might be saying something, under the minister is something else. Right? And it seems to me it is their intention to squeeze the consortium as much as they could so it could crumble.
I wish they would keep the same energy with 25 by 25. I mean, they put to hear you talk, they're putting more energy into
slowing down the consortium rather than I've been accused of coming here week after week undermining the 25 by 25.
Caller, go right ahead. Farm report.
Yes, damn sir. And Troy is able.
Yes, sir.
From the farm to the table. Good morning. Carl Brown here. Troy, as you are part of the consortium, I heard the minister say he bring in thousands of different plants to make breadfruit tree and all kind of coconut trees and all kind of different trees to in preparation of the 25 by 25. Were the consortium invited when these plants arrived here and had a walkthrough to see these plants? And Troy, if so, you have any knowledge, could you tell us which estate or which land the agriculture department and the minister have all these trees that they are supposed to be planting and distributing shortly?
Carl Brown, do you know the answer to the question you just asked?
I know the answer to it, but
I'm telling you, right, the consortium has not been in no conversation with the ministry concerning none of those trees or anything of that nature.
I know that was the answer, Troy, because he's boasting and the agriculture department is boasting on the radio and all the media that all these plants come to the island and things. And we all know a breadfruit tree don't be until 3 years. And he said by next year, remember they saying 25 by 25. We all know a coconut tree be a 3 to 5 years. And that's all the thing. So
Carl Brown, as I said, is 25 and 25 is beyond. Eh? 25 by 25 already up the Springfield.
We know that, and that is why I was calling on them to say 30 by 30 because they would not be ready or nowhere near ready for the 25 by 25. Our import bill is still going to be extremely large of late preparedness and late preparation and unprepared. Gone.
Thank you for your call. Can you imagine that in the peak of the tomato season, we are importing tomatoes?
At present. So
no. Right now, the tomato season
is
down.
Pretty much over. Yeah. Okay.
Because the heat and everything, you have difficulty producing tomatoes. But when we had the spoilage, the dumping of all these tomatoes, it was in the peak of the season, which those tomatoes meet imported tomatoes. So how will that impact the 25 by 25? So that's why I keep saying that it is a failure. And now they are trying to frame the argument that is the consortium is who undermining the 25 by 25. They already start to frame that argument. That is the consortium. You know? They asked the consortium to give them time so we could have a sit down and to just lay low. Don't say nothing that is critical of the ministry or anything at this moment.
But if you were undermining it, you guys wouldn't be at loggerheads. That doesn't make any sense.
But
I mean, on their part, that doesn't make sense because
the argument isn't for me and you. The argument is you throw it out there, and there are some people who are gullible. They'll just run with it, the argument, and those are the people who they are trying to get at. People who listen to this program will know that what they are saying is not the truth.
If you're working towards increasing food production, and they say they're working towards increasing food production, but their actions belie that fact, how are you undermining? I don't understand that. That makes no sense.
But what don't make sense to me is why the consortium is getting this pushback and this fight. Why? Mr. Harris, when he was there working, at least they were able to find money to pay this and to pay that and to pay that. Now they're having difficulty. So you ask, why is Mr. Harris in a corner not doing anything?
And they don't recognize this as a problem?
No, because it's one person it's all about. He's shooting himself. He using his office to suppress other people. And indeed, the thing is the farming community being affected.
Troy, I really think because sometimes I wonder what it takes to get through to people, because no matter what you say, they're gonna think that you're
yes, and
you need to get more farmers to come and
that's the reason why you
speak
see other people come here and do the program. That's the reason why you see other people will come and do the program, because I said maybe I'm not the right messenger. So I step back a little and allow other people to come and do the program, fill in the program. But the situation is getting worse. I spoke to a farmer this morning who told me that they are depressed. This is the dry season now. Let's ask them, how is the drip program going? You remember the drip program that was rolled out? How is it going? Because you can't get drip program and people ain't got water.
Good point.
You see? And these are the things that I keep coming here
and saying. So there's no let's say there's no regimen in place to address the fact that water is a problem?
No,
with the drip
there's
program?
nothing. There's nothing. As I said,
so they have a drip program that's optimized for if water was not an issue.
Right.
And they're not addressing the fact that water is an issue.
Because if you give me a tank, that's something to catch water, you know. If no rain fall, no water going in the tank. So the tank ain't no use to me. And when the rain fall, you won't have enough water in that tank to himself do what I'm doing. One of the tank is just one night a feeding your plant.
So how do you water your plants at present?
I have running water.
Oh, okay. You have running water. So how much water would you say you use on a monthly?
A good amount.
A good amount, okay. All right.
Yeah, because you can't for it.
But do you have catchment water that you have set up?
I do use rainwater when
well?
necessary.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, you do that.
Okay.
You see?
Okay, let's take the last call. Hold on. Farm Report, you're on the air. It's 9:32. Hello, caller. Okay, I don't know what happened there. Yeah. Okay.
In wrapping up, because I know time going. I just want to make an appeal again to the Prime Minister. Please intervene. Please do something to stop the hurt at the farming community. As the caller said, maybe we need to sit down with him again. The whole farming community need to sit down with him.
Caller, go right ahead. I'll take the last call. Go ahead. Please be brief. Hey.
Yeah, I'm very brief. Speaking about water. I have water on my farm. I got my own drip lines and all of that. So water is not the problem with all the farmers. and how will it have been left behind? A finish.
Okay.
And that's the thing that we try, the farmers are trying, I was part of the 25 by 25. I mean, I said here, I signed up for the 25 by 25. I received some tomatoes and I received some sweet peppers. Currently, the tomatoes are not bearing. So that's actually, I've been burnt by the 25 by 25. But yet still being accused of undermining the 25 by 25. There ain't no proper planning going into these things. Now, we in the hot thing. Do we have heat-resistant seeds available for the farmers? We still could do tomatoes if we have the right seeds.
Oh, you have tomatoes that can grow in
the heat.
Okay.
We unable to get certain seminary seeds. Why? Why is it that we can't get?
But don't you guys buy your own seeds sometimes?
You could order seeds.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is something that we say when you order those.
And is
seeds,
there duty on those and so
no,
on?
there won't be a duty on the seeds.
Oh, okay.
But you have to do a load of round and round information, back checking and so before you could get those seeds. And if those seeds come in and all the paperwork and everything is finished, even if it takes you 6 months to get them finished, those seeds gonna stay until that them things are complete.
Well, that seems very
but
inefficient.
This is kind of thing we're trying to ask the ministry to look at. Like, you have some known seeds company which already we're doing business with here, saying it's seeds that coming in here from these known companies. Why is it that you can say a farmer could buy a seed and just bring in seed without all this red tape and this running around? No, you got to, even though it's a known company that you selling, even if I bring in seeds that the department is selling, if I bring them in, I will have to bring the whole history of those seeds go back around. The very same seeds that they are selling. You will put me as the farmer who go through that. Right? And I say, let's change these kind of things, make it easier. Because if I could afford to bring in my seeds and don't have to depend on the department, right? Make it as easy as possible for me. I don't have to go round and round, go all the way to Turkey, come back here. No, make it easy, make it simple. It's the same thing with chemical. There are known chemicals that we allow into the island. But if I go bring in certain chemicals, I got to go to the chemical board and all kind of thing. And so, load them round and round before I could get approval to bring these chemicals, which is known chemical that we are using. At this day and age, just want to make the ease of doing business much easier.
I was just about to say that. I mean, that seems very
much easier,
inefficient, to put it nicely,
But these are the things that the consortium sit down in meetings and discuss with the ministry, As much as we hear them say that the consortium is looking confusion. These are the things we sit down. We don't have confusion at our meetings. We sit down with simple things that will move the sector. We ain't going there and asking for, but we want to see the go plant and them kind of things there. We go and we sit down and discuss ways to make farming much easier for the farmers. They will pull a chemical off the shelf without a replacement. And that can't be right. If you're going to pull down a chemical from the shelf, you must have something to replace it with so that the farmer could continue applying his trade, making his work as easy as possible. Let the farmer concentrate on farming, try to make things easy for him. But what the government want to do, is to be controlled the farming community instead of facilitate, so make things easier, so you could do what you had to do for yourself. Seems like they just want to control everything and put you under their command. And we know the government, the ministry is not functioning properly. That ain't no secret. It is not functioning properly. I mean, if you listen out there, and I'm not the only one here crying, You listen to other calling programs, you don't hear my voice on them. You'll hear other farmers' voice on them, saying this is echoing the same thing that I'm saying. And most of the time when I come here, I only echoes what comes from the farming community. I come this morning with something that was echoed from the ministry, because the workers are not happy at the ministry. And they're just echoing that the dissatisfaction with the way the ministry is running. And the reason why a lot of things is not working on behalf of the farmers. They're echoing it. So any wise person will just step back and take a look and analyze the whole situation and see where you could make a change. You can't continue as if it's just business as usual and people are saying that they are not happy. They are not satisfied with what's going on. Well, if you're going to just continue as business as usual, that means you don't give two kicks about the farming community. The farmers going to continue to struggle. I mean, we was told in a meeting that when farmers make a little noise, they just throw something at them so they could stop talk. We was told that. So it was they never have agriculture serious to add to GDP. If you look at what they give agriculture in the budget, you will see that they are not taking it seriously. And we, as farmers, I mean, we got children, we got household. Why should we live hand to mouth? Why should we do that? Can't we elevate? It's a lot of hard work involved in farming. A lot of hard work. And if we put in the work, we should see just reward. Why can't that happen for us? Give us the opportunity to elevate ourselves. Make it simple for us. As simple as possible. Right now, the consortium is going into another planting program. We are getting ourselves ready to launch our next planting program. And the success of the first one, we're trying to tap that. Because we see our shortfalls. Even though it was successful, it could have been more successful. So we know where our shortfalls are, and we are working on the shortfalls. So we're gearing up for, this is June, by August we roll out that, and we are ready. We're good to go.
Before we wrap, with the hurricane season has started. How does that play into your plans? The next 3 months?
The hurricane season is going to be right down till November.
November, okay.
The end of November. So even though we have that in our mind, because everything is hit and miss, so we just continue planting and hope for the best.
And hope for the best, okay.
Yes, because we still got people to feed, So we got to, some of these cash crop is like 2 months and 3 months.
Really? Just the things that grow in 2 months? Like what?
Yeah. Like peppers, sweet peppers,
really?
And them. It'll take a month to plant out, for the seedlings to come to plant out, and then within 2 months you have peppers.
Really?
70 plus days. Also.
I didn't realize it was
the same thing with
that.
Watermelon and so. Watermelon is like, some watermelon is 40 something days, some of them 50 something, 60 something. Different melon.
I didn't realize that.
Different variety have different matured thing.
Okay, but I didn't realize some things were so short.
Yeah, the watermelon will be tops maybe 70 something days.
Okay.
So you see? So these crop, even though we say August, let me try. By September we could get out these melons.
Okay.
So we try, we just
okay, Troy. Again, so yeah.
I'm happy for the opportunity to be here, and I just hope that the powers that be are listening to this program. Because we have been patient. They have been patient, but it's only so much we can take. Our patience is wearing thin. No, it's true. It's wearing thin. From the time you reach a state of frustration and depression, anything could give. Our patience are wearing thin. So I hope that the powers that be is listening and are willing to make a change. And I'm saying it, the department, the Ministry of Agriculture needs shuffling. It needs shuffling. Thank you for your time.
Okay, Troy.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it for Farm Report for this week. Brought to you by Feed and Farm. Farm Report will return next week. It's 9:43.
For all your animal needs, try the Feed and Farm Store SKN. We have the best quality products in feed, dewormers, grooming supplies, toys, treats, and minor medical supplies. Drop by the store on the Kim Collins Highway at the airport roundabout. We're open from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday to Friday and 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Saturdays. Give us a call at 669-FARM.
Found the sound. 98.9. Win FM.
Magnum, my brand. Everybody put your Magnum in the air now. From you a drink Magnum, let me see. Take charge of things now your place now. From the river to the beach to the street. Hot Magnum when me have in a me hand there. He are a sipper, she tell me sweet. Look for me watch for your quick time check. Yeah. Right now a Magnum a for your beat. Enjoy yourself every day of the week with a Magnum. My life I forget sweeter. Must be 18 years and older to drink. Drink responsibly.
Feel the magic happening. Campari. Taste.
Something incredible happens when Campari is mixed just right. Like Campari and orange juice poured over ice. Taste it. Try it tonight. Bitter, sweeter, better. Campari. Must be 18 years and older. Drink responsibly.
Hear Earthquake call and say, "Hello, Miss Lee. Yes, it's me, Earthquake. I come in Tuesday around 10. No, sir. Earthquake does arrive unannounced. And when it come, it shake all sense and sensibility out of we. Remain calm, stay inside, and do the DCH. Drop, cover, hold on. Once the shaking starts, you know it's earthquake. Make a quick move to a safe place. Don't run to the door, we are in the exit. Stairs might broke up or full of people. Elevator, avoid that because you might get in and poof, power gone, and you're stuck in that box without ear. Take cover under a strong table or a bed or crouch against an inside wall or in a corner and cover your face and your head with your arms. Remember, DCH, drop, cover, hold on. Glass windows and doors, outside walls and doors in an earthquake, bad news. Take care yourself. Most injuries during earthquakes happen when something drop and hit people entering or exiting a building. Last thing, nobody run outside and ask, you feel it, you feel it? Remain calm, stay indoors until all the shaking stop and do the DCH, drop, cover, hold on.
This message is sponsored by the Australian Government, AusAid, and produced by NEMA in collaboration with WINNFM.
It's 9:49 on Island T. All alone at this point. AZ had to go off the court, and of course, Kortensia is off this week, so we are with Kortensia this week. We're supposed to have Shevrich coming in, but she couldn't make it. So we had a very interesting chat with Carla Powell this morning. Read the lack of let's say jubilation on the selection of the very first petition to the West Indies cricket team in 96 years. I didn't realize it was that long. Wow, 96 years, almost a century. No pun intended. But and then now we had the woes as expressed by Troy Flanders and his consortium. Never seems to end, does it? You would think, you really would think that the same energy would be kept with actually getting things done around here, but man, I guess I'm over it. I just really don't know what to say on that score. Caller, go right ahead.
Hey, Jumps, good morning.
Hey, what's up?
I'm listening to the program.
Mm-hmm.
And you will also think that two ministries, Ministry of Sport and the Ministry of Agriculture, happen to fall under the portfolio of the same minister.
Oh, God, I didn't even think about that. Actually, yeah, true.
Have you thought about that?
No, I didn't even think about that, actually. Thanks for, wow. Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
And it is not a nice thing to say, because his plate is, let's say my cup is full and running over. You would think it would be blessed that your cup would be full and running over. But in terms of the issues that can be derived from both the lack of oversight, or, lack of a better word, in terms of, and I thank Mr. Powell for presenting such history that the the Leeward Islands, the islands in the Leeward Islands, and he's so correct. I think at one point Dominica was a part of the Leeward Island before they went to the Windward Islands.
Yeah, I remember someone saying that one time.
Leeward and Windward Islands, and then the combined island team that we used to have back in the days, if you were to follow the sport, especially cricket. So thanks to Mr. Powell to bringing this as to such a long time that we have been playing cricket amongst the islands.
Yes.
And for Sinkit and Nevis to finally got over the threshold, Sinkit and Nevis, with Nevis being the smaller one, has gotten from El Comida Willip and the Sargent and Stuart Williams and so forth, has made a contribution to the West Indies team, as opposed to Sinkit, that has already gotten there. It is time for a jubilation. It worked it.
What do you think about this is something I always thought should have been extended to Kim Collins if it wasn't. But what do you think about the official passports or diplomatic passport idea? I actually think that's a good idea. It's a nice gesture.
Yes, and all things make the guy feel proud. Make it since Kim Collins has done what he has done. I mean, we have got an impetus, so to speak, in the enthusiasm as to being an athlete and wanted to be enrolled in that auspicious genre of sport. And so, likewise, cricket, because cricket is on an all-time low for us. Cricket is not a sport that is like if you would observe and you will go to the sporting facilities around St. Kitts, the ones that have shown interest in cricket is like our neighboring brothers and sisters from the island, like Guyana, other islands you will see showing more interest in the sport, in the cricket, more so than our nationals, to ours to a less extent. But you will want to say that, St. Kitts is home, and you would have seen more of our nationals showing interest in it. You would have seen more.
And
even on the lawns over at Frigate Bay.
And
Friday time, you will see the guys have their little cricket gears set up there. You notice it?
Yeah, I noticed there's one thing that Carlisle said which I thought kind of resonated because I didn't think of it until he mentioned it. And I know with people who are really into cricket, I could imagine. Same thing with Kim Collins. I know maybe people who come here who are into track and field and, this is where Kim Collins, and that's like a big deal to them. They'll probably, So, and Carlisle said the same thing about people visiting here. We get a lot of visitors from the UK, especially. I heard.
Yes.
I heard the head of the the head of the tourism authority said that there's a 17% increase in people of tourists from the UK this year. So, can you imagine? Let's say if Louis goes out there and really, makes his stamp on the West Indies team and on the cricket scene, people come in here and they'll be like, this is where. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it adds another dimension to.
I happen to be a stakeholder in that industry.
Mm-hmm.
You are telling me? There are 2 British nationals now. I drove them. I brought them to Bastia yesterday. They're staying in the resort area.
Mm-hmm.
And they asked me about the cricket. They came into the town yesterday and they visited the stadium, the cricket stadium.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things they asked me while driving from the airport yesterday is that our cricketers and so forth. So yes, and you have seen the increase in visitors' arrival. And yes, I don't know how much the percentages are that are coming from the UK. But yesterday I was asked a question about that. Now, I would want to be equipped to really facilitate them with the necessary answers to their questions about us. And not just Kim Collins as a one-off, but here comes the young guy, Louis, and more in the future. Because they will want to ask us about who are the celebrities that comes here or who are the celebrities in St. Kitts in terms of in the sport.
Mm-hmm.
And we will always want to be ready to facilitate the answers to their questions in that area. But what I call to the radio program, besides those 2 that I have listened, I wanted to bring something to the fore quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Can I?
Sure. Go ahead.
Yes. I read an article, and it originates from the Bloomberg media.
Mm-hmm.
But one of those African channels, it's called the New Africa Channel, picked it up, where it is alleged from the European, and it could be propaganda, but I'm watching it. I'm going to have to say more on it. That Russia, the Russian military, they are recruiting foreign nationals, foreign students. They are offering them extension of the visas, providing that they enroll in the military to go and be a part of the war. Recall when the war started in Ukraine, there were some African students that got caught across the border, trying to go across maybe to Poland, and some alleged report also emanated that, the Ukrainian authorities wanted to know the Africans, and the Africans went back home to their respective nations in Nigeria and the like, and they disclosed that, yes, there was a approach to be recruits in the army. So I am watching that. Not only African students, or not only African nationals, but, because remember the Wagner Group. The Wagner Group came about with like they were ex-convicts, persons who probably got convicted, persons probably was incarcerated, and they decided to, hey, let's discipline these guys, get them enrolled in the military, and blah, 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 and
But
so forth and so forth.
I actually read, I think it was Monday, that the Ukrainians are even, they're now resorting to taking prisoners and training them up for war, because, you know, they're experiencing a manpower crunch right now, you know, just like the Russians.
Jamsa, true. But that is not new, because if you were to do your research on the colonies in the Americas, the colonies in Southeast Asia, like let's say Australia, they were penal colonies that the British, the UK, the British authority has sent out to say, well, hey, you craft a living, eke out a living on yourself, because, you know, taxpayers' dollars are spending to keep you in prison, incarcerated. And, you know what I mean, why don't you just go out there in the wild, go out there and eke out a living and so forth. Not only that, in Kenya and certain former British colony in Africa, those ex-convicts, those persons who probably came back from the war and so, was given lands in those former British colonies for those British ex-soldiers and so to start to eke out a living, and they ended up with a lot of the land which weren't theirs.
Okay.
Our land. You can imagine our our portion, our birthright was given to other strangers, other people, because they have fought in the British War, and that was their you know what I mean, their thank you.
Okay. All right, look, I gotta leave it there because I gotta leave it there for today's show. Okay, so man, so many things going on in the world, so little time. We got the Spin Cycle Power Hour coming up, and we got Voices coming up at 11 o'clock. And during the Spin Cycle Power Hour, I'm going to be giving away a ticket for the Four Seasons Father's Day brunch, so you better keep your ears peeled at maybe at about the halfway point, 10:30 or so. I'm gonna do a giveaway for the Four Seasons. Yes, the Four Seasons Father's Day brunch is coming up this week, and I was told yesterday, but you know what? I'm gonna tell you guys on the other side. We got Spin Cycle coming up next. That's it for Island Tea.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is WIN